Hello guys, good evening. Welcome to another online meetup of Sri Lanka DevOps community. And today I'm going to take you through a little bit of journey to GitHub packages, and we are going to build Nuget packages, and then how to use GitHub packages to store Nuget packages and utilize them. So that's what we are going to talk about, and in the process we are going to use GitHub Actions to push the Nuget packages into the GitHub package repository. So that's what we are going to look at. So let me move a bit to the agenda and then get you updated with that. This is we are just going to use the GitHub packages and how to push Nuget packages into that, and the agenda would be creating the demo Nuget package for GitHub packages. And there's a bit of specialty when we are creating a Nuget package targeting GitHub packages, and then what we have to do is use a GitHub action workflow to push the packages into the GitHub package repository. So we are going to do that in two ways. One is using a new spec file and then using Nuget exe to do the packaging and pushing using .NET Nuget. And then what we are going to use as a second way is we are going to make the same Nuget package using the .NET Packway, and then push the same thing into the GitHub package repository. Once we have the package available in the repository, as the next step we are going to use that package normally as you would be using in a general available Nuget package. Let's see how we can use it from a GitHub package repo into our code base. So that's what we are going to look at. Each step I'll take you through step-by-step explanation and all those things, and then we will have a good understanding of GitHub packages and how to use Nuget packages with GitHub packages by the end of the session. So that's the target. So with that, let's get started. So let me take you to the browser first, and then show you let's begin with a new GitHub repository. So that's better, I think. So let me start creating a new GitHub repo. Let's begin. Yes. So the name would be my Nuget package demo. So let me go there and start creating a new repository, and let me name it as my Nuget package demo. So I'm not gonna do anything, so I'll make this public so anyone can access this package repository and the sample after this video, so you would be able to see it entirely, the code base and the actions, etc. So let me create this repository right now. So the first step is getting the repository created. Okay, now I have the repository created in my GitHub account. So then as the next step, I'm going to clone this repository into my machine. To do that, I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. Then I'm going to use that. Okay. So in Visual Studio Code, I'm going to press Ctrl+Shift+P to get the command line, and then I'm going to say git clone and put the URL there. So this is the clone URL of the Git repo. So once I press enter, then I'll give a path, maybe Jaminder and GitHub maybe. Yes. Here I am going to put my repository as a clone. Okay, so once I clone the repository, I have my repo clone here. So let me open up the terminal window. Okay, so let's wait a second to get it open. So once it is open, the first step would be for us to create a Nuget package. So to create a NuGet package, the easiest way would be create a simple class library. So this is not about how we are gonna create NuGet packages, etc. So we will create a very simple NuGet package with a very basic operation. So let's get started by creating a folder in this repository to keep our package. So let me say md, and yeah, so this would be my NuGet demo package. So let me try to cd into that repo folder. Okay, now I'm inside the folder, so I'm going to create a class library project. So I have .NET 5 available in my machine, so I can do .NET new class lib, which would create a project for me. So this would simply create a class library project for me. Okay, so if you have a look at this, there is a class 1 which is having this particular code base. So let's convert this class into a more appropriate class so that we can see how it can be utilized in the usage once we push the package as a NuGet package. So let me go and change the code a little bit and change this class into a meaningful one. Okay, so I can go ahead and change this code into NuGet demo. Maybe I'll rename the class file as well. Let me rename that one into NuGet demo. Okay, now you can see I have a message returning that is saying hello world, welcome to NuGet packages in GitHub. So that is my NuGet package which I am going to create. So with this one, so let me try to build this one for the sake of making sure. .NET build, so which will build the project and say okay, it's successfully building and there is no errors or warnings. And okay, so let's just okay, it's successfully building. So once that project is successfully built, I will add a Gitigno file just for the purpose of making sure I'm not committing unnecessary files into my repository. So let me try to add a Gitigno file. In order to do that, I'm again going to the command, so Ctrl+Shift+P, which will take me here, and then I use an extension called generate Gitigno, so which would help me to generate let me say C#. Yeah, I'm going to use C# and then .NET Core, and I'm going to use VS Code, and that's about it. So Windows and Visual Studio Code, so that's all good. So let me add the Gitigno file here, so which would reduce the committing files into something like this. So it would be Gitigno file and my project file and my class file. So if you look at the project file, so let me take you to the other view and then show you the project file. So project file only just says it's targeting .NET Framework 5. So that's the basic project file. So I'm not going to do any sort of like, let's build this as a NuGet package directly using a GitHub workflow action, utilizing a new spec file which is auto-generated using the GitHub action workflow itself. Rather than trying to add the new spec file manually here, let's go ahead and do that way, so that we don't have any sort of change in our code like the class library, but our GitHub action workflow would be able to fully make it a NuGet package and add this class library as a NuGet package into the GitHub package repository. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's first get this code committed and say my class lib project added. Okay, so that's good. So that is simple class library project getting added to the GitHub repository. So let me commit this one and then push this code. So once I push this code, let's move back on to the browser. So let me take you to the browser. Okay, So then let's refresh the browser to see our code is already there. Okay, now you can see my class library project is available in the GitHub repo. So let me start adding a file here. I can do the same thing from the Visual Studio Code and add the file and get it done, but I would use this platform just to show you how the syntax etc works, so that it's easier for you to edit GitHub actions in the GitHub UI, web UI itself. So let's go ahead and create a new file here. So we have to first start with .github, and then we have to put a slash and say workflows. So that's the path the action should be stored, and then we can call this particular action workflow as Nuget push with we'll say new spec, and then I'll say YAML. Okay, so in this YAML, let me begin with adding a very simple step, which is actually I will just add first step and then explain a little bit, and then go ahead and explain you the rest of it. So I will be creating couple of variables here. So let me explain you one by one what are the variables and why I am creating them and what's the purpose of each one. So so let's create this one first. So this one I'm having on push. That on push says whenever the code is pushed, this workflow should be executed, and my job name is new spec Nuget push job. So that is the job name that I have given, so you can give any name you like here, and I'm running this on Ubuntu latest. How I am possible to run this on Ubuntu is like .NET 5 is capable of running on any platform, so you can use Ubuntu latest or even Mac OS latest or Windows latest, that doesn't matter. But if you are using Mac OS or Ubuntu, you might need to follow the same syntax, and when you are using Windows, there might be little bit differences in the action workflow depending on how you are reading variables etc. But I'm utilizing Ubuntu because it would be much faster to execute this one. Okay, with that one, so let me try to zoom a little bit if possible, and explain a little bit about the environment variables that I have defined in the job scope. So first thing is I'm trying to say what is my package name here. So package name, even though I have put it as a variable, I think I will have it on the new spec file anyway. The project path, okay, my project path is my Nuget demo package and my Nuget demo project CS project. So that's the same project path file we had created a folder, and inside that we have created the project in this repository. So the new spec path that I'm going to create a new spec file inside my build output folder. So my build output will be created in the build output path. So in that place, I'm going to create dynamically a new spec file, which will enable me to package it as a new Nuget package. Okay, so the next step will be the build configuration. I will be using release. Then once the build is done, I will be taking my package get created in another folder called my package out folder, and I'm going to use versioning syntax. So versioning syntax will help me to create new version of the package each time I run this workflow. So that is the purpose of I'm utilizing this GitHub run ID. Now these are default available parameters in or variables in GitHub for the action workflows. So this is providing you the run ID of the workflow. So that will be a unique number always. And I need to be able to push my package into the GitHub repo package repository. In order to do that, I need to have this as a GitHub. I need to have some sort of authentication. So that authentication purpose, I'm going to utilize GitHub token. So this is again default provided access token for the scope of pushing packages, etc. And you can access the repo details, etc. And there are a lot of operations that you can do. If you go and check the GitHub documentation on GitHub token, what are the permissions allowed, you will get more details. But for here, what I'm trying to do is push the package into GitHub package repository utilizing this GitHub token. Okay. Before I continue, let me go to my package in another tab of the same window and try to show you that. Okay, if I go to this code window, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see packages. Now there are no packages at this particular time. So what we are going to do is we are going to build this code base that we have created and make it a Nuget package and get it pushed into these packages. So that's our target. Okay, so the next thing is I need to provide GitHub package registry URL. So that would be https nuget.pkg.github.com and my account name and index.json. So that is how you are referring to the Nuget package repository in GitHub. Now if you are using npm etc., there is separate npm package github.com, and if you are using GitHub organization instead of a GitHub account, so you can use the organization name here. So it's account name or the organization name, and then you need to provide the GitHub repo URL. Now as of this time, it is mandatory for you to provide this repo URL when you are reading or writing packages, because now it is getting attached to a given repo. So that's how it works even in organization accounts. But I hope in future, I have seen some documentation in GitHub issues saying this would be enabled for organizations without getting attached to a repo. You can directly push to GitHub packages kind of thing. But at this time you must provide which is your repository path. So you can see my Nuget package demo is my repository, so that is I have provided here. Alright, so that is the explanation of the variables that we are using, and with that let's continue. And the first step would be to check out the source code into the action workflow runner. The runner would be Ubuntu latest machine, so that runner will be checked out with the code, or download the code from the GitHub repository. So let's commit at this moment and let this run just to ensure that we can run this workflow, and then let's start modifying, because like once we save this, it will show us syntax highlights, and we can utilize actions from the marketplace, etc. So I want to show you that, so that's why I'm gonna commit this file without any further modifications. So this is the initial thing. So once I do that, you can see in the actions, action should have been triggered because we have set the trigger as push. Okay, now if I click on this one, you can see the execution, and when I click here, you can see the execution has completed and there's no issues, and it has successfully checked out my code. Okay, so let's go ahead and start modifying a little bit. I can actually pull this code into Visual Studio Code and do it, but I would rather like to do it in the UI itself, in the web UI, just to show you how easy it is to set up GitHub Actions. Okay, so let's go and set up the rest of the steps. So let me try to first build this project. So in order to build this project, what I need is I need to use build step and a .NET restore step, .NET build step. So let me try to do that as the next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit this code, and then we have to go to the GitHub workflows, and then refer to the YAML file, and then we have to say edit the YAML. Okay, now you can see there is some marketplace actions you can copy from, etc. So you can search the marketplace actions, and the syntax are properly highlighted here, and there will be some sort of IntelliSense also available. But anyway, let me make sure I'm doing the right thing here. So let me paste a couple of steps. So these steps, now you can see indentation matters here, so that's why I'm actually very careful with the indentation. So if you do one mistake in indentation, it will be in an error. So you have to be exactly correct in indentation when you are writing YAML files. So the first step would be to just say, so if I try to zoom a little bit because it's too small, I reckon. So this is saying setup .NET Core SDK. So since I'm using .NET 5, I'm referring to .NET 5.0.101 SDK, and you can see the index of .NET Core from another GitHub file. So maybe I'll give you towards the end of the session, I'll provide you the URL for the .NET SDK versions. But if you are doing .NET, so we need to have this SDK referred in the runner to enable building .NET 5 projects. And then what's the next step would be, I'm doing a restore with .NET for the project. And if the next step would be to do the build, again .NET build will be running and providing the project path and configuration, and then output path would be used. So that's how. Now this version suffix, let me explain you once I add the .NET Pack capability what it can do in the build step, but right now it would not be that much beneficial at this moment as we don't have any version specification done in our CS project. We just committed the CS project, so we don't have anything special there. So this will actually build up the project. So once the build is done, the next step would be, in the build output folder, we are going to create a new spec file. So how are we going to create the new spec file? So let me show you the steps in creating the new spec file. So I'm going to use a PowerShell core task in order to do that step. So let me copy over a pre-created one because I just don't want to make mistakes here. So let me put it there in here. Okay, let me click here. Okay, let me go to the end and try to enter. Alright, so let's see. Alright, okay, let me zoom back into the normal position, otherwise I can't see it fully. So let me paste this code here. Okay, now this one, the step would be creating a new spec file. Now this is using PowerShell core, and you can see I'm taking it the new spec content into a variable. Now this is the definition of new spec. So you can see in PowerShell I'm reading a string, right? So this is the entire file content of the new spec file. So this content would be actually having a couple of data. That is the demo package name. So this I can actually replace with a bit of variable if I need, but I'll let it be there, so I'll not worry. Then the version, and then I am going to use author, and then description, whatever the description I want. And then you can see something special. The repository type is Git and the URL is set. Now this is mandatory when you are doing Nuget packages targeting GitHub package repository as the target. So if you're using Nuget org or something like that, you don't have to specify the repository like that. You can just build the Nuget package and push it to the publicly available Nuget org. But if you are pushing the package into GitHub package repository, you must include the repository and the type as Git and the URL as the GitHub repo URL. So if you remember, we have defined the GitHub repo URL as a variable here. So in PowerShell core in GitHub Actions, to refer to a variable, you have to use $environment : and then provide the variable name. So this is how I refer to that one. Okay, then with that I need to add some dependencies, because I need to tell this one is depending on target framework .NET 5, and then I need to make sure my DLLs are getting copied to lib/.NET 5 to avoid any additional warnings when I am creating the NuGet package. So even if you omit this part, it will still work, but it's good to have these things, because then it will be in proper structure when you are doing the NuGet packaging. So this is a new spec reference, so you can see Microsoft documentation on new spec references to get more idea on how to set up a new spec file proper way. Okay, so once I create that into a variable, I'm gonna pipe it the content and output it as a file to the provided new spec path. Again, I'm referring to new spec path, which is specified in the variables, which is actually going to create the new spec file inside the build output folder. Okay, so once I have my DLL built and it will be available in my build output, then I'm gonna create a new spec file inside that. Okay, the next step would be I have to push this package into the GitHub repository. Okay, how am I going to do that? Okay, first thing is we need to build or package this as a NuGet package. Okay, we have a new spec file, but we need to do a NuGet package. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the NuGet exe into this Ubuntu runner, and then utilize that NuGet exe to do the NuGet pack job. Okay, so let's go and see how we can do that that set of steps. Okay, so that is actually going to happen like this. So let me copy a couple of last steps, so we can discuss what are those steps. So those steps would be, okay, let me explain one by one. So the first thing would be set up the NuGet exe in the runner. So this is the runner machine or the job runner machine. I'm going to set up the NuGet exe. So I'm going to use a action which is saying set up NuGet. So this one will actually set up the NuGet exe. So you can search here and you can find out the same tasks available in the marketplace. Okay, so once I have the NuGet exe available for me, I'm gonna do a NuGet pack and providing new spec path, and the base path will be build output, then output directory would be package output. So then I'll say in addition to version specification in the new spec file, that is 100, append it with a suffix that is the run ID, so that I will have a unique package number each time I generate the package, so that when I push the package into my GitHub package repository, it will be a unique version each time I run the workflow. So whenever I make a change in the code, I push it, then it will create a new version of the GitHub package registry as a NuGet package. Okay, the last step would be to publish this NuGet package into the GitHub registry. For that one, we can use .NET NuGet push. In .NET NuGet push, you have to provide the package output path and the NuGet package. So I'm just using asterisk NuGet package so that it will push. And this API key would be the GitHub token. So that is mandatory to provide. Now this is provided as a parameter because sometimes when you try to access directly the GitHub token from the command line steps like this, it might not work because it is based on the runner that you are using, runner OS that you are using, and it might not read the token correctly. So to ensure that you can read the token correctly, ideal way would be you put it in an environment variable first and then utilize it from here. So that will make sure you are correctly providing the API key as the GitHub token. Okay. Then as the source, you need to provide the GitHub package registry URL which we have specified on the top as nuget.pkg.github.com and your organization account name and index.json. Okay, so that is that. And then I can say skip duplication and no symbols true or whatever I want. So these are additional things when you're doing a NuGet push, but it's not mandatory to put them. But anyway, like if you say skip duplication, it'll if the same version number is trying to push, it'll not allow doing that, and it will not throw an error, rather it will skip. Okay, so let's try to commit this one and try to see. Okay, let's say create and push the NuGet package. Okay, let me commit into the master branch itself. So let's see how our action flow works now. Okay, so here it should be running the action workflow. So let's see the steps. So you can see it's setting up the .NET Core SDK, and then it's actually going to do the restoration of .NET, which I believe it will be executing a little bit faster. Okay, so now you can see it's packaging and then it's pushing. Okay, so it's quite faster. I mean, if you check the overall workflow execution time, I mean, it's a couple of seconds, right? So it's definitely less than a minute. Like even it's super fast. So I'm really, saying these GitHub action workflows are really running faster. So it's 27 seconds altogether, and your package is available, should be available in your GitHub packages now. So let's refresh this one and see if we have the package. Okay, now you can see here the package is deployed here into the GitHub repository. I have a NuGet package availability. Okay, all right, so let's go and check this one. Okay, so it says, okay, you can utilize this one using .NET add, and you can provide the project name of your project and then the package and the version. Okay, now this looks ideal, but I have to tell you this now. You can't go and like just utilize it in your project straight away, because as of now you must have some sort of a personal access token available for you with GitHub package read permissions to enable you to utilize this in code. Okay, so let's create the token first in the GitHub UI and then go back to the rest of the steps in Visual Studio Code for us to create another project and then try to utilize this this NuGet package and see how it works. Okay, all right, to do that, so let me go to my account settings first. Let me open this up in a new tab. I hope you can see my new tab as well. Let me double check anyway. Yeah, you are seeing my this thing, the new tab. So in the settings we have something called developer settings. Okay, in there you can find personal access tokens. So in the personal access tokens you can say generate a new token. So when you are saying generate a new token, you can provide a note. Let me say my package read token or something, package read or something, it's okay. So this is the node that I'm adding. Okay, my package read, and then what you have to provide is only the read access for the packages. So if you scroll a little bit, you can find read package here. So what we need to do is read package access should be granted to this particular token. So I have created it with a node, and then read packages permission is granted for the token, and then I'm gonna generate this particular token. Okay, now my token is generated here, so I need to copy this out. So once I go out of this window, I wouldn't be able to see it again, so that's why I'm copying this out, and I'm going to keep it in a secure place with me. So okay, as the next step, I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's move back to Visual Studio Code. Okay, in our Visual Studio Code, what I'm going to do is, right now we have the project that is actually the Nuget package project. So let me create a using project. So that let's create another folder. Let me go to the command line maybe here, so it's easier. Let me try to say CMS. Okay, from command. Okay, so I'll do a cd double dot and get out, and then I'm in the root level, and then I'm gonna create another folder. Maybe I have the command already saved. Let me see. Okay, so let me create a folder called use Nuget demo. Okay, so another folder created now. Let me cd into that. Use. Okay, so I'm inside that use Nuget demo folder. You can see the folder is created here. So let me create a simple console app. Okay, .NET new console, which would be creating a console application with .NET 5. Alright, super. So we have got a project file and now program C is created here. So if I run this project right now as it is, .NET run, it will just prompt something. Okay, let's see, what does it do? Okay, it's saying hello world. So that is because my code in program CS is saying hello world console write line. Okay, so let's try to use that Nuget package. Now if you are trying to use the Nuget package, you have to provide certain information in a Nuget config file with the GitHub packages repository details and that personal access token that I have created. So in order to do that, let's create a file here. In this particular folder, let's create a file called Nuget Config. Now this is mandatory at this moment, even for publicly available Nuget packages in GitHub package repository. You must use a personal access token, which is a bit weird for me as well, but it is how it is. So if you are wanting to use GitHub packages repository as your public package repository instead of Nuget org or whatever other public repositories that you're using like MyGet, you must provide a personal access token. Like you must have a GitHub account, you must create a personal access token of yours, and then only you can even use the publicly available GitHub repository available Nuget packages or whatever the packages. So that is a kind of thing that I don't like, but hopefully GitHub people will make available the public packages without any tokens. So I mean it should be that will be coming along, I believe, but as of now we must use this, otherwise it will not be allowing us to access the packages. So let me go ahead and add the Nuget config file content here. So here if you check, let me go ahead and add it first. Okay, so this is my Nuget file content. So let me explain a little bit about this content. So the first thing is I'm going to specify a package source. In that package source I have to provide key as GitHub, and then maybe value as the Nuget package github.com, and my account name. Now this can be your org name if you're having a GitHub organization, then index.json, and then the other thing is you need to provide okay, username doesn't matter actually, so it can be anything you want, and but the password should be clear text password, and it must be the token that we have generated in the previous in a few minutes back. Okay, so we have here the news Nuget config file. I'm actually having this repo as a public repository, and I'm not going to erase that repository. So you guys, anytime you want, you can access my public repository and get all this code downloaded if you want. So I'm not gonna do much details right now. Okay, so with this we have our Nuget config file. Okay, so let me try to add the package now. Okay, how can we add the package? So we have seen in our GitHub window. Let me show you that where I can copy that command. So let me go back to the GitHub and show you that one. So in my packages, if you go here, you can see this particular command. So it says .NET add project and package and okay, all these things. So let me copy that command. But here when I'm using that one, I'm gonna remove one part of it. That is actually the project part, because I'm already inside the project folder. It can locate my project automatically, so I don't have to specify the project. .NET add, because I'm having my CS project, this use Nuget demo CS project inside this particular folder, so I don't have to specify it. I can just say .NET add package, my new spec Nuget demo, and then version. Okay, so let me try to do that. Okay, it's trying to get the package from the repo. Alright, cool. It seems it's successfully restored, so there's no problem. Now if you didn't have this Nuget config file, it will say authentication error. Even though it's a public package, still it would go and say there is some authentication error to the package repository. So this is a must. Alright, now with that we have the package added. Now we need to start using the package. So how we can use the package? Oops, I think I made a mistake because I didn't show you my Visual Studio Code window. So let me try to show it again because I made that mistake. Okay, sorry about that guys. So let me go back to Visual Studio Code. Things happen when I try to do that. Okay, so the command I copied, how I executed is like this. Okay, let me click here. Okay, I removed the .NET add, then there was a project name here. I removed that project name part, and then I had .NET add package, my package name and the version only. And when I hit enter here, it actually downloads and restores the package into my use Nuget demo project. Okay, sorry about that, not showing earlier the correct window, but now you can see it's restoring the package. Now this is totally working because I am having this Nuget config file in my project folder. Otherwise it will throw a authentication issue. Okay, so we have to be a little bit quick because I think we are running out of time, it seems. So let me try to use this package now. I hope you guys can see my Visual Studio Code window. Yeah, we are good. So let me try to use this package that we have stored in our GitHub repository. So let me add some code here for that one. Okay, so I'm gonna use the namespace of my library, class library. If you remember here, if I go to here and show you, so this one is my namespace. Okay, and so the same namespace name used, my Nuget demo package is the namespace here. And then I can add another console write line statement just to print the message from the Nuget package. Okay, let's try to do that here. Okay, so let me call new instance of Nuget demo class and use this. So we have referred the package here. Now once we refer the package here, if you go and see this CS project, you can see package reference include. You could do this as well. Instead of adding this via this command, you could go ahead and do package reference, then include the package name and the version. So this also works totally fine, right? This is the my console application CS project file. So you could do this as well instead of going ahead and say adding package command. So if you execute that package command, this section would be added to your CS project. So that's what happened, and then the package will be restored automatically. Okay, now with this, if I run this project, it should print the .NET. Sorry. Okay, let me clear screen here because it's a bit weird. Okay, what's happening? Let's see CLS. Okay, that's all good, and then I'll say .NET run. Okay, let's see how it works now. Okay, now you can see it is utilizing the package and printing the message from the package. So package is returning the package is from GitHub. So we have utilized the package. Actually, we have created a package using a new spec and then push that package into GitHub and then utilize it from our program. Okay, so that's all good. All right, so let me push this code into the GitHub repository for that so that you guys can later see the code. So let me see usage of Nuget package from GitHub. Now even if you go and build this using a GitHub action workflow, still it will work fine with a normal .NET restore because you have the Nuget config file here. So since you have the Nuget config file, if you execute a new .NET restore, it will automatically go ahead and download the stuff from the correct GitHub repository, the correct package version. So there will be no problem. Okay, so let me commit this code and then let me do a pull because we have had the workflows, and then let me push this code. Okay, so now we have the code utilization code and simple NuGet package class library project, which is created as a NuGet package by using a new spec file using the action workflow. Okay, since I have another 10 minutes, let me show you how to build the same package using .NET Pack instead of utilizing new spec file. So for that one, let's get started in Visual Studio Code itself because I'm not interested in switching windows a lot now because I might be creating troubles by doing that. Okay, so let me show you the GitHub action workflow, which is actually first created. Now this one is actually creating the action workflow with new spec file. Okay, you can see the new spec file is created, and utilizing that new spec file we are creating the package here. Okay, that's fine. Now let me make this one as workflow dispatch. That means I have to go and manually execute this particular workflow, else this will not be executed. Why I'm doing that is the next one that we are going to use .NET Pack to do the same package creation and push, which I will be doing via a separate workflow. Okay, so let's keep this workflow at a manual triggering way, and then let's add another YAML file here. Okay, let me click here and ensure that I'm adding the file here. So let me say NuGet push .NET Pack. Okay, YAML. So this will be my new workflow, which will be building the NuGet package utilizing .NET Pack. Okay, in order to enable .NET Pack, I need to ensure I have some sort of details added to this my class library project, which is the NuGet package. Okay, now here we only have target framework .NET 5 available here, but if we are going to push this one using a .NET Pack, we need to add, I mean, even if we are creating NuGet package using .NET Pack, we have to add a couple of information, but we need to add additional information as well. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, let me first add them and then explain you what needs to be added. Okay, so in a Visual Studio Code window, in this property group we need to add these type of additional details. So let me explain one by one what are these. Let me fix the indentation. Now indentation doesn't matter much here, but I would like to have a proper nice indentation. Here I have to provide the package ID, so I'm going to use the same package ID because I don't want to create a new package. If I use a new package ID, it will be creating as a new package and pushing as a new NuGet package. We can even try to do that. Okay, let me say my .NET pack. NuGet demo. Okay, my .NET pack NuGet demo. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, this is .NET pack NuGet demo. Okay, then I need to provide the version prefix, that is 100, and I need to provide this syntax to enable version suffix to be applied to my project, so that even it can get applied to my assemblies as well as it will be applied to my package as well. Okay, and then author and company, whatever you want, and then package description, again whatever the description, whatever you want. So it says NuGet package sample with .NET pack, and here the thing is you must provide this repository URL. Here you need to provide your repository URL, that is the repository that we are having this package. So if you are not having this, your action workflow, or even if you build this NuGet package and try to push it to GitHub package repository, it will fail. But if you don't have this repository URL part, and if you are trying to build this as a NuGet package using .NET pack and push to public NuGet gallery, you can do that without any problem. But if you are using GitHub package repository, you must provide the repository URL like this. In future this will change, obviously, but I think so, because I have seen some documentation saying this will be changed, but as of now we have to use this because this is depending on a GitHub package registry is depending on a repository, some sort of link there. So that's why we need to provide the repository here. Now this one can be your org name or your account name. This one should be your repository name in GitHub. Okay, so with this we are able to do the .NET pack. Okay, so this change must be done to the CS project file. Okay, with that let's go and do add the workflow code here. Okay, so let me copy over the entire workflow code and then explain it, so that will be much easier. So okay, all right, so let's try to understand this code from Visual Studio Code itself. So it will be running on push, and the job name will be .NET pack NuGet push job, and it can again run on Ubuntu latest. So if you want to use Windows or Mac, that's fine, but Ubuntu latest is my preference, so that's why I use that. So this is the runner. Okay, the next step is having some set of variables. Again, like in the previous workflow, we have the project path, so I'm having the same project path here. Then the build configuration is released, then the output path is my package output, and the run ID is the GitHub run ID, which will be appended as the version suffix, and then GitHub token and the GitHub package repository URL. Okay, so sorry, GitHub package registry URL. Now this is not the repository URL, this is the registry URL, that is NuGet package GitHub and your org account name and the index.json. So this is to say it's the package registry. Okay, all right, now the next step is checking out the code and setting up the .NET Core SDK, and the next step would be to do the restoration of .NET, so that whatever the dependent packages will be restored. There's none, but anyway it's better to have a .NET restore always before a build. And the build with .NET will actually do a .NET build and then go ahead and apply the configuration, and the version suffix would be applied, because this can actually go ahead and append your assembly.cs even with the correct versions prefix and the suffix, so that it will be applied. Since your CS project saying version prefix and suffix, even the assembly will contain the version prefix and suffix. Okay, so that's a better process if you are following to do that. Okay, but the NuGet package version is not applied by this one .NET build, but it will be applied when we are doing a pack. Okay, now .NET pack, we can provide the project path and configuration and the output location, and we are doing the version suffix. Now we are omitting new spec creation and utilizing of NuGet exe, etc. So we don't need that. We can just do .NET pack, and we need to provide the version suffix, and we can say no build and no restore, so that it will just do the pack action once the package is created. Now this is a much simpler workflow with much less steps. The previous workflow took around 27 seconds. Let's see how much time this one will take as well. Okay, once the package is created, it is simply pushing the package. Okay, so we have created this package with a new name now, because I have specified a new package name in the CS project file. So let's try to commit this code and push it to GitHub and see in GitHub how the action workflow runs. Alright, so let me save this one. So I have 4 files to commit, or 3 files to commit. Okay, so CS project change, and I have changed my previous one to not to run automatically, but the .NET pack action will run automatically. So let me say .NET pack NuGet push. Okay, and let me stage everything and say commit, and then I will say push. Okay, now let's switch back to the browser and see if any actions are running. Okay, now you can see I have 2 action workflows. One is using .NET pack, the other one is using the new spec. So let's see the .NET pack one. Okay, .NET pack YAML action. Okay, now you can see your action workflow is running here. So let's look at the steps. So it's build, it's packed as NuGet, and it's also published. Now it can be done in 22 seconds now. We are saving 5 seconds here. Okay, now once we do this, if you go to the code base, you can see there's a new package available now. So my .NET pack NuGet demo is created because I have utilized a different name. Now if I use the same name, okay, now we have one version of this one. So let me do that and show you as well, just to make sure like you guys understand what I'm saying. So you can see this has 2 versions already, 26 and 10 minutes ago. So let's go ahead and okay, let me go back to Visual Studio Code. So let me switch you back to Visual Studio Code. Okay, from here let's go to the CS project file of the NuGet package and provide the name exactly as the previous name. So let me make sure I'm doing the correct thing by copying the correct name. So it's actually my new spec NuGet demo. So let's try to use the .NET pack and push to the same previous package. Okay, so it's just the package name. So I'm changing here the package name. Okay, so let me let me say try to push to previous package with .NET pack. Okay, so let me try to commit this one and let's see that workflow works. Okay, push. So let's switch back to browser and let's have a look at the executing actions. Okay, so we should be seeing .NET pack YAML should be executing. So let's go ahead and see what it is doing. So this is executing the same set of steps again. Okay, so we can see it's done in 18 seconds now. Okay, it doesn't matter, so it's really quite faster, I mean less than a minute even. And then you can go and see in the code and packages. Let's go to packages. Okay, let me go to my new Spec Nuget demo, which was having 2 versions previously. Let's see if there is a third version. Okay, now you can see 23 seconds ago a new version is created. So I have shown you like it can be created as a new package, but you can utilize the same package and build it in 2 ways. Like one is using new spec file, the other one is using the .NET Package. So in summary, what we have done is, so let me switch back to maybe slides. In summary, what we have done is creating a demo Nuget package, and then we have actually built it with 2 ways using the action workflow. One is using new spec file, the other one is using .NET Package, and then we have successfully pushed it to GitHub Packages. And then I have shown you how to utilize these GitHub Package Registry available Nuget packages in your projects utilizing Nuget Config file and a personal access token. How you can utilize these packages. So that's about it. And like even if you are having private packages, you can create a private repository in GitHub and create your private packages, so no one else outside of your organization can access private repository based Nuget packages or npm packages. I mean you can create npm packages and like other Gradle packages, etc., and store them in GitHub Package Repository, which we might do another session like this in our DevOps community to show you how to do npm and how to do other type of packages. But today we have discussed about doing a Nuget package with .NET and storing it in GitHub Package Repository. So that concludes my demo today, and thank you so much, and hope to see you guys in another great session with .NET community. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everybody.